Hello, everybody. Dragonfire here, and I'm coming at you with another one of my yearly album rankings, top 10 albums of the year. And I am recording this on New Year's Eve of 2025. So, what better way to celebrate the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026? But to go back and do the top 10 albums of 1978. I'm not sure that makes sense, but I'm going with it nonetheless. Yes, that's right. I'm ready for my top 10 albums of 1978. But first, I got a few honorable mentions. Okay? How about Aerosmith Live, Bootleg, or the live album from AC/DC? If you want blood, you got it. And of course, who could forget Cheap Trick's live album, Live at Budokan? All right. Yep, Cheap Trick. So check out some live albums, AC/DC, Aerosmith, Cheap Trick, some great bands of the late 70s for sure. Okay, now to get to my top 10 albums of 1978. I will admit that I have considerably less albums from the 70s than I do from the 80s, but I still like some 70s stuff. And if you go to my playlist, you'll see that I have already done actually 1979 all the way through, I believe it's up to 91. So I've done the entire 1980s. Um, and I've started on the 90s, and I'm trying, even though I did the 80s first, and then from there I'm expanding out, sometimes going forward into the 90s, sometimes going backwards into the 70s. But anyway, yes, today we are doing 1978, and I've been waiting for this one for a while because one of my favorite bands had their debut in 1978, but we'll get to that. All right, first off, I don't have a copy of Whitesnake's album Trouble. It is technically considered the first Whitesnake album. This is Whitesnake's greatest hits, but the first one came out in 78. But I'm using this greatest hits collection to represent Trouble by Whitesnake. Even though I don't have a physical copy of it, that comes in at my number 10. Okay, and now my number 9, similar story. I don't have a physical copy, but I'm going with The Who. And in 1978, they put out um, Who Are You? This is actually the album Who's Next, which I believe was the one right after Who Are You? I think it was Who Are You, then Who's Next. I'm not sure. I may be getting confused on the timeline there. No, actually, this one's a lot earlier. It looks like this one was 71. Who's Next? But anyway, Who Are You came out in 78, and enjoy some of that classic rock of The Who. A great title track, by the way, as well. Who are you? Oh, tell me, who are you? You. Yeah, the CSI used The Who for their theme songs, different Who songs for the theme songs for the different CSI shows, if you like CSI. All right, that was my number 9. My number 8, I am going with Kiss. Of course, in 1978, Kiss put out the 4 solo albums. Each member of the band putting out each member of the band at that time putting out their own solo album, but also being released under the Kiss name. And I'm choosing Ace Frehley's solo album for number uh, my number 8 for 1978. Um, this is, in my opinion, the best of the 4 Kiss solo albums, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Ace Frehley passed away not that long ago. So, RIP to Mr. Ace Frehley. All right. Now, number 7. This one's going to be a little bit weird. My number 6 and 7 here. But I think with number 7, I'm going to go with Quiet Riot, the original first Quiet Riot album. If you know, this was only released in Japan. For the American audiences, the first album would get would be in 1983 with Metal Health. But this is the original Quiet Riot 1, and for my number 7, my number 6 is Quiet Riot 2. I do think Quiet Riot 2 is just a little bit better than Quiet Riot 1. Quiet Riot 2 has Slick Black Cadillac. It's actually the first track on the album, and it would later go on to be re-recorded for Metal Health. Um, Great song. All right, now getting into my top 5. Ready for my top 5? I'm going with Power Age, or I've heard some people try to pronounce it Power Rage. Whatever you want to pronounce it, Power Age is a great album by AC/DC. Of course, this is in the 70s, so this is the Bon Scott era. Not sure when Power Age came out, the Australian version, but I do know the US version of the album came out in 78, so I'm including it, Power Age US version 78, on my top 5 for 1978. For my number 4, kicking off my Mount Rushmore, I'm going to have Heaven Tonight by Cheap Trick. I love Cheap Trick. I've been getting into them more and more lately, and can't say enough good things about them, especially their early, 70s and 80s catalog. I think I have basically everything they did in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. As far as the catalog, I've collected everything that they released as far as like all their studio albums, their live albums, and I've just been listening to a lot of Cheap Trick lately. All right, now getting my bronze medal, coming in at number 3 is Double Vision. Double Vision from Foreigner. Of course, the title track on here, Double Vision, is one of the great Foreigner songs of all time. But check this album out, Double Vision by Foreigner. Actually have here, I'll show it off, the vinyl of Double Vision by Foreigner. You can see it has the same picture on the back. Kind of going with that theme of Double Vision, Double being their second album. Yeah, but I love some Foreigner, especially 70s and 80s Foreigner. This one's got Hot Blood. It might just be my favorite Foreigner song of all time. You got Blue Morning, Blue Day. You're All I Am. Yeah, Double Vision. The title track opens up side 2. Spellbinder is an underrated song. I'll let you look at the title track there. But yeah, that's getting my bronze medal, coming in at number 3. And I'm going to give my number 2 to Move It On Over by George Thorogood and the Destroyers. If you watch my channel, you know how much I love this band. The title track, Move It On Over, then you got the Who Do You Love, and The Sky's Crying, and Cocaine Blues, It Wasn't Me. Yeah, the first side of this album, the first half of this album is just killer. But the second half is actually not bad either. Definitely fantastic album, Moving On Over by George Thorogood and the Destroyers. 70s album. One of their first, I forget, did they debut in 77 or 76? I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up to try to remember, but this is one of their earliest albums. And so anyway, yeah, that's my number 2. Silver medal is going to go to George Thorogood and the Destroyers. And finally, number 1. I'm giving you Van Halen. the original Van Halen one. I I put Van Halen 2 on my 79. You know, Women and Children First for my 1980 countdown. Um, you know, Fair Warning for 81, Diver Down for 82, 1984 for 1984. I love the David Lee Roth years of Halen. Those these 6 albums in 7 calendar years, only skipping 1983. The Van Roth years, if you want to call them that, but Van Halen uh, during the David Lee Roth years is some of my favorite stuff all time. Running with the Devil, Eruption, You Really Got Me, Ain't Talking About Love, I'm the One, Jamie's Crying, Atomic Punk, uh, Feel Your Love Tonight, uh, Little Dancer, Ice Cream Man, and On Fire. This is a special edition, so I think it might have some bonus tracks. The original album, I don't think the original album had 11 tracks, but I actually got a vinyl here. Was it 11 tracks? Let me see here. So, oh yeah. The original album only had 10. It actually ended with Ice Cream Man. So yeah, I didn't even realize that before. On Fire is a bonus track on this version. But here you can see the vinyl of my favorite album, 1978. Uh, that being Van Halen. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. And tell me in the comment section what your favorite album of 1978 is. All right, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Thanks, everybody. Dragonfire out.